ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 102 of Kaiju Curry House. Tonight, your co-host Joe is joined by Connor and Paul, and we are going to be going over the Iron Pyrite of sequels, Pacific Rim Uprising. Love it or hate it, this film has a lot to offer, and we're going to be going through it. But first, as always, we're going to ask our co-hosts, what have Kaiju been up to? Paul, I'm going to pick on you first. Take it away.
Thanks very much, Joe. First of all, not what I've been up to, but on another podcast I was listening to, they mentioned a new game coming out that I just thought I'd give a shout out because the guy who hosts it is big into Kaiju and stuff. So it's called Vengeful Guardian Moonrider. It's coming to PlayStation and it's a 16-bit style game. So think Revenge of Shinobi or the kind of side-scrolling from the Mega Drive or Super NES days. And all the enemies are influenced by yokai. So, hey, cool. If you like your yokai, give that a go. Other than that, I watched The Predator because we watched Prey, and I was like, Joe, I really fancy watching another film in the Predator franchise. Which one should I watch? I went
Predators.
For the Predator. So I went for The Predator. No, I think I might do Predators next.
You haven't seen Predators?
I have, but I'm just like, I've seen the first
again rather than
I've seen the
first
Predator so many times. It's like, I want to watch something different. So it's like Predator 2, Predators, or The Predator. And I went with The Predator.
Have you seen it before?
Yeah, I've seen all of them before.
Oh, okay.
It's such a good film, isn't it? I forgot how good it was. I think it's even better this time round. I really enjoyed it.
Partaking in the lemonade, Paul.
I might have been, but I don't think that influenced my decision.
Oh, Paul.
It was really good fun. The characters were all great. I really like the cast in that. I think they were just.
This doesn't bode well for tonight's episode, Paul. I have to say,
it's completely different from Prey.
Were you won over
Predator.
by a CGI mech suit? Is that what this is?
The what?
Were you won over by a CGI mech suit?
What in Predators for the Predator?
Well, the Native American wasn't wearing one. No, so
no. The part I didn't like about the Predator was the ending, where they get the Predator killer suit. I was like, oh, that ruined it for me.
I have a bit of a conspiracy theory about that scene because Shane Black, who directed the Predator, asked Arnold Schwarzenegger if he wanted to come back to do like a cameo, right?
Yeah.
So I'm suspecting that originally in the silo they don't find the robot suit. It was going to be Arnold. That's my only.
No, there were a few planned endings, and Shane Black did ask Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think that there was like a falling out. It was either over whether or not it was relevant to have the character there, and whether Arnold wanted to like be associated with that, or whether or not it was like payment for the role because it is an iconic role of Arnie's. So
that's true.
It was one of those things. But at one time, Sigourney Weaver was going to wake up from a cryo sleep. There was and it was like a face hugger type like breathing apparatus that was going to be on her head. There was an Arnold Schwarzenegger potential cameo. There were lots of things discussed, but
and they
ended up on the mech suit, it was creative.
Didn't
maybe
fit.
A bit much. We took it a bit far. Someone should have reeled that back in, I feel.
But I still don't get. So the Predator, the little one, has come to the planet to help us. And then he crashes his ship and then kills one of us straight away and, hangs him from a tree. Who is he going to deliver this suit to? Was he going to seriously, where was he taking this
Bold
dude? He didn't get
to
crashed.
Assume it was a he.
The Predator, whatever. Actually, I don't know if do they. That's something we haven't seen yet.
We do have sexual dimorphism. It is a thing.
Okay.
The females are actually bigger. Anyway.
Where was it going? Is the question I have.
Earth. It was going to Earth.
It was going to Earth, and it was
going to give this to people.
Go to Area 51 and say, hey.
That is a huge plot hole, though. Why was it coming to help us? So if you delve into Predator lore, they're called the Yajuda or Yajuda. Yajuda is how I see it.
Yajuda. Well, is that what we call them?
Yautja.
Is that
Yautja or
what?
Yajuda, but
Yeah,
Yautja.
I've heard Yautja, yeah, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
from the Dark Horse comics. So
yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, in one of the many different like lores that are out there, they were actually like a slave race, and I think that there's like there is like a sense of like honor and not picking on those who cannot defend themselves and things
Yeah.
like that. But I think that the idea of a predator coming and giving weaponry to already a very hostile race in their own right, who have won on a couple of occasions. Granted, they probably don't have the interstellar like nuking spaceships, but it's just like, why are you giving them a predator killer if like so many hunt them for sport? Like, are you hunting non-sentient species now? Or like, what is this? Is that like there were too many avenues left unexplored in that plot device to make it a good one,
Yeah.
Well,
in my opinion.
there's also a lot of like deleted scenes and just studio meddling with that film as well. Because if anyone remembers when there was behind the scenes photos leaked back in the day, which showed predators, multiple predators, helping the humans with tactical sort of like army camouflage on their armor.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Well,
Uh,
no, I don't remember any of that.
And well, what ended up happening was NECA actually released figures of those predators,
Gotcha.
even though they never appeared
Even
in
though
the
they-
movie.
So are they in deleted scenes in the? Like, should I go through my Blu-ray extras?
I don't know. I don't own the film.
I'll have a look at the extras and see if there's anything about there.
But no, I'm not joking. Like, there's one of like one of the predators in a tank, and he's like, he's holding the machine gun on the tank and everything. But
What could have
Moving
been.
on.
But yeah,
Moving on.
so aside from that huge plot hole and the ending, I really enjoyed The Predator, and I look forward to watching the other Predator films and seeing if they've aged just as well.
that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and I also watched Jurassic World Dominion.
Oh, how'd you like that?
So I got together with my friends. They promised I had to shout them out. So Laura and Sally, I went up and we made a big deal of it. So we like went and got some snacks, got some drinks. Like, right, we're doing this. We're all gonna sit down and enjoy it. And God, were we disappointed? What a bad film that was.
oof.
Excuse me, you like The Predator, but you didn't like Jurassic World Dominion.
I enjoyed The Predator way more than Jurassic World Dominion.
I can sense
And
the tension in the
and the
room.
two I was the ladies I was watching it with were
No,
I
it's
think
just
very
the
tempted to give up
hypocrisy.
on watching the film. And they're like big fans, of all the other films, but this one was just it wasn't a Jurassic World film. Well, I mean, obviously it is in name, but what I mean, oh god, it was just oh no, terrible.
So break it down for me, Paul. Where did Jurassic World Dominion go awry for you?
Probably pretty near the start where the whole plot seems to circle around locusts not eating food grown by this biosin company, and the way they're going to link the two different casts together is I don't. It's so the clone.
The whole movie. The
whole movie
stems-
is about biosin, which is the competing organization from InGen back in the original film.
Yep.
And Alan Grant and Ellie Sadler
Ellie Sattler, Alan Grant, Ian Malcolm.
get back together again. Ian Malcolm's now working on the inside of Bison. He's like a secret agent, it seems, and they need to link the organization with these locusts that are spreading around and eating all the crops up. So Ellie and Dr. Grant team up with the help of Ian, sneak into the laboratories to get evidence to prove that Bison are baddies. And at the same time, they're kidnapping the clone girl and baby Blue to the same lab, and that's how the characters meet together. And I didn't really care for the girl or for Blue's baby, and I didn't care.
Right. So I feel like this is oversimplification of a very topical plot. So
I just didn't care.
So right now in the world, we're experiencing temperatures and political conflict, which are really disrupting our food chain and food supply as human beings, correct?
Yes, correct.
So in
Mhm.
Europe right now, the Ukraine conflict is going on, and we in the United Kingdom are feeling it because grain prices are going up. Now, there have been political treaties and falling apart of those treaties, but long story short, the price of grain is going up. The other thing, too, is the extreme temperatures across Europe and the UK recently, like over this summer, have killed a lot of crops. So, to use an example, olives. So, olives were not growing this summer because it was so hot and so dry. In Greece, didn't happen. In Spain, didn't happen. And even in Spain, they were like, okay, the Ukraine, they grow a lot of sunflowers for sunflower seed oil. So they tried growing sunflower seeds in Spain, still died. So sunflower oil, that's used a lot. Olives are used in a lot of things. Those are just two examples where the price is going to skyrocket next year. And we are going to feel that. And right now in China, so China right now, at the time of this recording, which is August 31st, a lot of folks I don't think realize this because it's not really being publicized, but China's temperatures are around 40 degrees centigrade right now in the daytime, which is unprecedented for China. They're 34 degrees at night, and it's been that way for weeks. So China manufactures a lot of the world's stuff, and because of the population density, the water is being sucked out of the rivers at a rate that they aren't really being replenished. So what you're looking at is just a disruption of food to the masses. It's going to cause prices to soar. And then on top of that, we have a political conflict where oil and gas are creating incredible surges in energy costs. So we in the UK are feeling that. Sorry for like the lesson in economics at the moment, folks, but I will tie this back to the large, dangerous, scaly things. Don't you worry. Anyway, so Jurassic World Dominion is about a genetically engineered super insect on one hand, and the introduction of various invasive species in the form of genetically engineered dinosaurs, which can reproduce asexually. So basically, these things lay eggs even though they don't have a mate. So between the dinosaurs doing that, and then you have these giant locusts that are eating all crops that are not engineered by biosyn, you've got a major problem there and a major ecological disaster. The dinosaurs are bad enough, but the fact that the insects are eating crops, and because they're so enormous, because they were genetically modified by biosyn, these are insects that escaped like a test group, and then because they're invasive in their own right, they've gone rampant. So they're developing into something which is just taking apart the local ecosystem, and then at the same time, our food pyramid. So where the child comes into play from Fallen, or not Fallen Kingdom, Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom, yeah.
So Fallen Kingdom, we've got this genetically engineered child. Well, it turns out she wasn't genetically engineered. She was grown like normally, baby in a bump. But what her mom did is her mom had a disease that she, as a copy, inherited. So what her mom did is retroactively change her DNA with the injection of a special virus, which edited her genetic code. Now, viruses edit genetic codes. That's what they do. That's why when you get a virus, you never get that same strain again. It has to be a different strain that infects you. So for this Maisie, I think it is, right? Maisie Lockwood. So Maisie's genetic code contains this virus, which was able to edit her genetic code in the first place. So have scientists tried this before? Yes, they have. They have tried viruses to edit in and out genes. They failed miraculously. All the test subjects developed a fever and died. Whether or not there's been any improvement on that, I don't know. But the last time I read the literature, which is about 7 years ago, that was where it was at. So Maisie has in her DNA, because of this virus, which changes your genetic code, the virus becomes more or less a part of you at that point. So she has in her genetic code the blueprints for this virus, which can rewrite DNA that only her mother was able to come up with, and her mother died of this genetic disorder. So Maisie's the only one who has these blueprints. Now, because the locusts are spreading, and because like you're not going to be able to hunt down every bug in an ecosystem, that's ludicrous. So Maisie's DNA is needed to get the virus. Once you have the virus, you can use it to make the bugs sterile, right? So that's the only way you're going to stop this. These locusts on a tremendous scale that are well nigh impervious, like they're the size of cats, right? So that's the way that you stop that. Now, biosyn and the dinosaurs, so the dinosaurs are invasive, but they're not that next level threat that the locusts provide. The dinosaurs are just being captured and taken to biosyn, who has this, I don't know what you call it, preserve.
Sanctuary.
This sanctuary for them. So yeah, we get to see the dinosaurs and everything, but what they actually did with this film was create a much more intense or pressurized threat to the globe that the dinosaurs would never actually pose. So yeah, the dinosaurs are crazy, but have humans never hunted a species to extinction before? The dinosaurs are dangerous because of what they are. But if they wanted to kill that T-Rex, they could kill that T-Rex. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where, yes, they could hunt the dinosaurs back into extinction. They don't want to. They want to put them in this preserve because dinosaur rights, whatever. I hear you. But the locusts are tough. You can't just make mosquitoes go extinct overnight. And even then, if the mosquitoes were eating all of our crops, that would be a dangerous thing. So in terms of Jurassic World Dominion having a stupid plot, I don't think it has a stupid plot. I think in today's economy and today's like ecological understanding, it's actually a very timely film. However, when it was made, they didn't know all of this was going to be happening. So I think that it's kind of fallen into that, and it's not getting necessarily the respect or foreshadowing that it tried to put out there. Now, what I do like about Jurassic World Dominion is the amount of practical effects. So there are a lot of scenes in that movie where I had to go back and go, wait, that's not CGI? Because it's incredible. That Giganotosaurus, that giant, like T-Rex killing monstrosity. So when it's walking around that car, it's in the trailer, folks. Hopefully I'm not spoiling anything for you. But they're trapped on the other side of this overturned Jeep, and the Giganotosaurus is walking around the car. The thing's feet are CGI. The rest of it is an animatronic. That's cool. The Dimetrodons were animatronic. The Dilophosaurs were animatronics. It was awesome. Those practical effects were so good. Granted, there's a lot of CGI too, but what they managed to get away with practical effects was great. And then we have Ellie, Alan, and Malcolm back in the film, which I think is great. Mm-hmm. I love that. I love their chemistry. And then like I know that like some people may hate on this. Some people, it may not be their cup of tea, but I'm a hopeless romantic. And when Allie and Ellen weren't together at the end of Jurassic Park 3, that tugged on my heartstrings. It never felt right for me. To see them finally get together in like a friendship, romantic, like they always had a thing for each other, but it was never realized until this point. That was a good like closure to their story arc for this hopeless romantic. So it's not the best film. It fell into the current climate, in terms of what's going on in the world right now. And the practical effects are really good. There was a lot of artistry that was put into that film. It also has the Carnotaurus with the Kenner Wave 2 demon colors, which is amazing for this kid who grew up in the 90s. So like, I love it. I love it for all the right reasons, but I understand it is also at the same time a flawed film. There are plot elements and lines in that film that could be yanked out and streamline it. But at the same time, all that they do is enrich the world. So, I mean, like, I'm along for the ride. Why not? Sorry, rant over.
Oh,
Wow, that was a good rant there, Joe.
I haven't seen the film yet, but
Get out.
because you've mentioned the Kenner colors, I just hope that there's like a pterodactyl that's like bright blue, like the old Kenner pterodactyl figure. But
You got the bright blue pterodactyl at the end of The Lost World. You don't get it in that film.
oh, wait, was it blue in the Lost World?
Yeah, there's a pteranodon at the very end that matches the Kenner Lost World toy line.
I'll need to watch it. I know that it appears at the end, but I can't remember if it was blue or not. But
Yeah, it's blue, yellow crest, yellow beak, red eyes, I think.
You have a good memory.
I do.
I think I remember, a flying dinosaur at the end of the film landing on a branch.
Yeah.
That's about
That's the one.
it. Yeah. I could not tell you what color it was.
All right, Paul, we've taken up a third of this podcast
We
now.
really have. Yeah. So, Connor, you need to watch Jurassic World Dominion and let us know your thoughts. Because I think because we looked on the internet and it's been rated the worst out of all the films. And so we were thinking,
I don't think
okay.
that's fair.
We were thinking,
I don't think
okay,
that's
it
fair.
can't be that bad. It can't be that bad. We loved all the others, but anyway.
I didn't like Jurassic Park 3.
Joey, what have you been up to?
All right, what has Joe been up to? So this weekend, I am going to actually the Jurassic World exhibition in London.
Ooh.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. They have some amazing animatronics there, some amazing puppetry, a Jurassic World shop. I might spend some money. Anyways, I'm going there with the kids. I have dragged the entire family into this, and we're going to go and check it out. We're also going to go see the Museum of Natural History because I am super geek. But I've got that planned. In terms of other things, I have been scoping out the Blu-ray release that was announced for Legend of the Dinosaurs and Monster Birds.
No, wait, there is a Blu-ray release?
There is a Blu-ray release coming out, and right now it is hovering around $17. So I am going to be snapping that one up. Oh, yes, I am, Paul. Don't you judge.
No, I mean, as I said, the soundtrack makes that film.
Everything makes that film.
I'm
So, folks, if you
Have you seen it, Connor?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You have to watch it. Alex only lasted 30 minutes, but I persevered and watched the whole thing.
Yeah, Paul and I powered through.
Like I've heard of it, but
so basically, like our favorite scene, Paul and I have the same favorite scene. So there's like this killer plesiosaur in the lake, and they decide to I don't know, like the mayor of the town decides it's okay to have a country music festival, and the stage is on the water.
Yeah,
and like
this sounds a bit like Jaws, almost like the mayor's of the shenanigans.
It is ridiculously good. It is not quite Tammy and the T-Rex schlock, but you will have just as much fun watching it, because apparently dinosaurs and monster birds also cause earthquakes and volcanic eruptions simply by existing. They cause these phenomena. You don't know how it works out. That's part of the legend. That is part of the mythos, Connor.
Yeah, the only thing
good.
The only thing I know about this film is there's no dinosaurs and there's no monster birds in said film.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I dropped that one. Other thing that I did recently is I totally binge watched The Sandman with my partner, and we absolutely loved it. I hadn't really encountered it before. I'm totally going to be picking up the books, but it has a gargoyle named Gregory. So large, dangerous, scaly thing alert. You can check it out. Gregory was cool. Anything else that I've been up to? No, that's about it. I am going to have some awesome large, dangerous, scaly thing stuff to report. I will get some videos up on our YouTube channel so that you can check out, see what the animatronics kind of look like. There's a few lurking around the internet right now anyways, but I'm going to show you the London one. Anyways, that's me. Connor, what have Kaiju been up to?
I'm glad you asked, Joe. So, first of all, I have seen Prey, finally. We're continuing on with the Predator talk in this Pacific Rim podcast.
Anytime.
Yeah, so I saw Prey, and it was good. It was all right. I still have the gripe about the CG Predator face at one point, which just seemed a bit unnecessary considering they did make a rather amazing looking animatronic head, which they just added like what they did was I don't know how much of CGI they added to it, but it's particularly in the mouth area where they added like saliva and all that, and it just kind of it's a
It
bit
is
off-putting.
hard to make an animatronic salivate, Connor. You know this, right?
That's true, but it's still
I
impressive
feel, I
regardless.
feel like you're asking a lot.
So they didn't replace the whole head then. They've literally just added a bit.
Well, I don't know because sometimes the way that these things go, sometimes they do actually replace the full head. You know, like.
But then if you can't tell, then
I mean,
it's hard.
it is pretty jarring when you see it in the film. You know, it's like it does stick out, but yeah. Aside from that, it's okay. It's probably my third favorite Predator film. I think
Behind the Predator, of course.
Nothing beats the CGI bear, though.
The CGI bear. I don't know.
Pooh Bear was quite angry in Prey.
Yeah, there's a lot of CGI animals in that film. Now I think about it. In fact, I think aside the dog,
You aren't really supposed to kill animals, not real ones.
no, but
CGI ones are probably pretty good.
that's true. Yeah, I'm sure that
I'll spoil this for you, folks. The dog lives.
that's a shame. But yeah. So I saw Prey. I recently started replaying the game Destroy All Humans. If anyone's ever played that back in the day, they recently did a remaster of it on the not a remaster, a complete remake from scratch for current gen consoles. And the reason I'm playing it is because the sequel to Destroy All Humans recently got a remake as well, and that actually does have a kaiju battle in it, because there's actually a level where it's set in Japan, and there's a kaiju in it called Kojira. You know,
That's not on the nose at all.
no, definitely not on the nose. It comes out of Tokyo Bay and it starts attacking Tokyo, and you got to stop it. So, yeah. So there's that, and and the third thing is, as someone who has a flat, obviously you need to eat, right? And if you don't eat, you will die. So, I decided one day to go on a shopping trip to basically pick up some food, and I was walking past HMV. So I'm like, okay,
That's dangerous for anyone of our crew.
yeah, I'll have a look. I won't buy anything. I'll just see what's on the
sure,
shelves.
sure.
Yeah. So like those things like Shin Godzilla is available for like $7.99 or something like that, so you can get that. But there was a box set that I saw. Right, there's a very interesting box set. Right, and just I don't know if we can share screen or not on this. Probably not, but if not, I suppose we can edit it in later. But I came across this interesting box set here, right? If anyone can see that.
Okay. That is
So we've
literally every monster film done by Legendary.
Yeah, so you got Kong
monster
Skull
or
Island,
feature films. Yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong, Pacific Rim, Rampage, Godzilla King of Monsters, Godzilla, and The Meg. So why do we not have Uprising in there?
Oh,
I know why. Why. Because those are all good films.
Yeah. Plus the fact that Uprising was made by Universal, whilst Pacific Rim was distributed by.
So it's a licensing thing.
Yeah.
I didn't realize The Meg was made by Legendary.
Yeah, but the way that I see it, I'm calling this the Ultimate Monsterverse box set. So I think just to wind people up from now on, we're going to refer to The Meg and Rampage as part of the Monsterverse. I think that's fair. But
the Meg sequel, The Trench, has been greenlit.
Yeah, I heard.
Yep,
I'm really excited for that because that has large, dangerous, scaly things in it.
Didn't they do a sequel to The Meg called The Lock? I can't remember if they did or not. It was like a I think it was one of the books.
Is that the-
So
the
The
book,
Lock
yeah.
and Meg are both done by the author Steve Alton, and they do take part in the same universe. But so the Meg and the Trench and Meg Primal Waters, that's a good trilogy. The Lock is a good standalone book, but when they got combined, that's where we enter the realm of poor writing decisions. So I read the book that he combined them, and it's basically Indiana Jones and the Legend and the Crystal Skull. So we have interdimensional aliens,
Really?
Loch Ness monster,
What?
megalodons, and it was just, I was like, okay, when these were like prehistoric eco thrillers, you had me, man. You had me. But we didn't need to bring aliens into this. It really disappointed me. And I mean, when he was teasing that book, it isn't his last, but when he was teasing that book, he says, I'm going to go off in a different direction with this. I'm like, oh, interesting. And truth be told, like it takes place like underneath Antarctica in like, Antarctic like meltwater where its own ecosystem has taken on, like their prehistoric caimans like Purosaurus. There's Leviathan Melville. There's giant anacondas like stellar sea cow, like dugong type things.
The most threatening creature of all.
Well, and they're all underneath this Antarctic, like shelf when none of them actually occurred there naturally. And then we also have interdimensional aliens. And this guy, he basically has like, is it the Tom Cruise film that's like Edge of Tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, Edge of
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, where he keeps reliving the same thing. Well, these aliens basically say like, all right, you can relive your life like 7 times in order to get out of this thing. And like, but he doesn't like remember each thing. He kind of has like this vague like dream state, like what he should do next. And it's just like, no, what are you doing? No, stop.
This wouldn't happen to be the same character, main character from the Meg, which is played by Jason Statham. So I'm just imagining.
I think it actually is. Just give us a second. I will look up the title of this monstrosity, but keep talking, Connor.
No, I'm just imagining. I go, no, stop, please.
All right. So
It sounds like a sci-fi or asylum film, doesn't it? When they just like, yeah, let's just throw in an alien just to
yeah,
because we can.
Well, listen, Legendary is already banking off the Monsterverse. Why not do the Megverse? If that's the case.
I mean, I don't see why we can't have the Meg in the Monsterverse.
Yeah, so like the Meg sequels are like The Trench, Primal Waters, Hell's Aquarium, Origins, Night Stalkers,
Yikes.
Generations, and Purgatory.
I'm curious about the one, Hell's Aquarium. Do they capture the Meg?
Hell's Aquarium was basically like a guy in Dubai wants all of these prehistoric creatures, and
In
it's
his fish
like,
tank.
catch a Meg.
Okay.
It's Jaws free. They want to put the Meg in the aquarium.
Yeah.
It's Jaws free.
Yeah, I'm still looking for it. It's hard to find on the internet. I can't imagine why.
Mhm.
The Lock, Heaven's Lake. Oh, I mean, like the Lock series in order by Steve Alton here. I'm looking this up. I've forgotten. It was just such a repressed memory. Volstock. There we go. Vostok. That is the name of that book. And oh my Lord, I did not enjoy it. In case I didn't already make that abundantly clear.
So I'll just, if I start reading the Meg books, I'll have to tick that off my list then, of like books to
It's
avoid.
not even worth it.
Yeah.
It's just not even worth it. And then, like like at the end of the book, to jumpstart tourism, they take one of the eggs that they find underneath Antarctica because like they know what's in this egg and they just put it in Loch Ness because of course naturally it would hatch in Loch Ness, right?
Of
It
course.
turns out to be a giant caiman that eats everything and destroys tourism and is like attacking everybody.
How could they have known?
I blame the scientists.
I blame the scientists.
Those pesky
At the heart
scientists.
of every poor decision, it's always the scientists, isn't it? Like, they can't help it that their god, who was a writer known as Steve Alton, like wrote this path for them. But yeah, Volstock was horrendous. But in terms of books, we do have Warren Fay promising that the final fragment book, is going to be coming out, so that's good.
He is working on that as we speak, I imagine.
Yeah, he totally is.
Because I spoke to him about a month or two ago, and he was deep in. He was like, "Yeah, I'm just writing." So he is on the case.
Nice one. Anyways, she'll get to kaiju letters.
Yes, go for it.
Oh, okay. Norma, you start this off. All right,
I can if you like, but I mean,
you can start. I have one. So
I got two. One's very short, so I'll start with the longer one. But M. Bryant had commented on our episode 101 because I mentioned her game in episode 101 where she was celebrating episode 100 by having a lemonade every time we said the word kaiju. And
legend. This person is a legend. And
she was writing in to correct me because she actually lasted 21 minutes. I think I said 15.
Oh, dear.
Point of honor. It's a point of honor how many lemonades you can take.
And she said she would like to see our own take on a play-along game, whether lemonade's involved or not. I don't know. I mean, I've never really thought about how you could interact while watching unless... Actually, no, I can't. I can't think of a way, apart from nodding along or shouting at the same, "No, you're wrong," which people probably do. I'll get a lot of hate about my views on the Predator.
There has to be like a good one that you could do in a kaiju film, like in Gamera versus Giron. Every time someone says the word brains. Because the two space babes are trying to eat the kid's babes. So the two space alien babes are trying to eat the two children's brains.
Oh, okay.
So every time they say the word brains, you could like have a lemonade.
Yeah.
That, or every time that Gamera does acrobatics, why not?
So yeah, think of how people can interact with our show.
Oh, our show.
Yes, our show.
Every time Joe says anyway or anyways.
And it was also wasn't it? Wasn't there an episode, the one where Joe
I said like 100 times.
Like that's it, like.
Still have flashbacks about that.
How about take a drink every time Connor goes, the cardinal sin of recording audio saying
yeah, we're all guilty of it.
And also, Sally was just wondering if she'd won.
Yes. Tell you what, we will post the hat drawing at the end of this episode.
Awesome.
So there we go.
Woohoo.
What did you have, Joe?
Right. So I have Sam. Sam says, congratulations on episode 100. You can tell that I've been out an episode.
Thanks, Sam.
Anyways, yeah, Sam. Sam's a cool dude. So anyways, Sam asks, what is your favorite kaiju beam attack? And then I had to ask him, like, what do you mean? Like Godzilla's heat ray or Ghidorah's gravity beams? Or like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, he was just like, what was your favorite, like, finisher move? Like, when was like a time that like you saw like something awesome? Like I asked him his, for example.
Yeah.
And Godzilla 2014, The Kiss of Death. That was his.
That was very cool.
What has been your favorite kaiju attack? Like let's list it out.
I mean, the thing that gave me chills was Shin Godzilla going from fire to laser beam. Just when he's breathing, like it just starts off as like smoke, doesn't it? Or gas, and then it turns to flame.
Yeah, that is.
That's
a good
and that
one.
Soundtrack played. I was just like, whoa, that was amazing.
That is good. Yeah, that's a great one. I feel like the '90s Gamera, when he absorbs all of the fire and then nukes
Yep.
a Gauss. That's a good one. The Godzilla King of the Monsters, the film that came out recently, when he goes nuclear, thermonuclear, that's pretty cool one, like we're melting Ghidorahs there. So figure that deserves a shout out.
Okay.
Ghidorah was never melted before, if you don't mind. I feel like I also need to say in Gamera versus Legion, where Legion like opens up and then like all the tentacly lasers come out and go right through Gamera. That was intense. Was not expecting that one. No. You know what? For me, my favorite one though, and this is going to be with me to the day I die. Godzilla 1975, Terror of Mechagodzilla. When you first see Godzilla, you only see a shadow, and then out of nowhere is his atomic breath hitting Titanosaurus. It's like, you know who you woke up, and he ain't happy. Love that one. Connor, you're being quiet. Talk, dude.
So I was going to say Shin Godzilla as well, but to be different, does mechas count? Because
Yeah.
I would say the bit in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla 1975, where Mechagodzilla basically goes all out with all the weapons and such.
Godzilla catches on fire, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know. It's just, I think it's like there's not been a Mechagodzilla since that has just went all out, just straight away. Just
like it's really funny. So like when it was later in the 90s and I was watching that, I think I remember my brother John like saying at one point, it's like someone's just button mashing. They're just pressing all the buttons.
Oh,
it's not working. Fire all the things.
And the spinny head thing as well, which just comes out of nowhere, and it's just like,
yeah.
How does he rip his head off later on if he can just?
yeah,
that was cool.
Like he wrenched it off, to be fair. So I mean, like we're breaking threads at that point. I think that was part of it.
That's true, but yeah. I think another good one.
I thought it wouldn't be threads if he was spinning around all the time, otherwise it would fly off.
I think in Ghidorah, the Fear of the Monster, just the Ghidorah just destroying things in general. I think just when he starts using the gravity beams, I think that's another cool scene. I think, but yeah, that's
As dragons count as kaiju, I'm gonna throw a few cool dragon moments in.
He's an alien technically, so
well, yeah. So yeah, but you kind of reminded me here. So I'm going to throw out a few cool dragon moments. Vermithrax pejorative, the princess moment, arguably one of the darkest moments in Disney's canon when a dragon toasts a princess. So yeah, that was memorable. I'm going to throw out Draco from Dragonheart because there were just so many like cool dragony attacks in that. Of course, though, my favorite's like when he's trying to like whack Bowen with his tail and tries to slice him and just gets stuck in a tree and he has to turn around and go, huh? That was pretty great. And finally, I am going to cite a Game of Thrones episode.
I was wondering when I was going to get mentioned.
Yeah, so my favorite battle in Game of Thrones is the Battle of Winterfell with the White Walkers. I think that was just awesome episode. But when Daenerys takes Drogon and she and the Horde descend upon the Lannister army as it's coming back from Highgarden, and like you just see like this enormous honking dragon come over the hill towards this like basic phalanx of soldiers, ready to like deal with the barbarians. Like, okay, this is cavalry, we're soldiers, this isn't going to be good, but like we're trained. And then you see the dragon, then you realize like you guys brought spears to a dragon fight. That was a pretty epic dragon moment. But yeah, there's a lot of Dracarys going on in that one. Yeah. So
and why not?
That was good.
Why not Kaiju at all? I'm just gonna say Jurassic World when the T-Rex and Velociraptors team up and fight the Indominus Rex, who then gets eaten by the Mosasaur, because that was the most ridiculous and yet amazing thing I'd ever seen.
See, we can't have two antagonists, like two anti-heroes, exist without teaming up. Like they can't do a proper versus movie anymore. Batman and Superman, we got to team up. Godzilla and King Kong, we got to team up. Rexy and Raptors, two known enemies.
Yep.
Like first
Gotta team
movie,
up.
got to team up. And with that, we will take our first break.
Welcome back to Kaiju Curry House. This is an episode 102. I'm Connor. I'm joined with Joe and Paul, and we're going to talk about Pacific Rim Uprising now.
Yeah,
Finally, we've
made it.
we've delayed it. You know,
We aren't known for waffling on this podcast,
Never.
but we get there in the end.
but yeah, I think
This movie's terrible.
well, you know,
I disagree.
That's
You shut your face.
And
You
I think we
the
should
Predator
hear-
over Jurassic World.
And I think we should hear what some of our listeners have said, because they've jumped on to comment with their passionate
It's
responses.
terrible.
Yeah, I know.
This film single-handedly destroyed the Pacific Rim franchise.
well, there's that, and maybe the anime, but anyways, oh dear, but definitely probably Pacific Rim Uprising is probably responsible for that. But yeah,
What do
That's
people think, Connor? Tell me what someone said about the film.
well, we'll start with Brandon Hickley Smith, who says, for the most part, it was a pretty disappointing sequel. In other words, not as great as the first film. Although I like the Jaeger's names, even the designs were okay, and thought the three main actors were quite good. That still didn't make me impressed with the rest of the movie, especially the tone, music, plot, humor. Oh, this is a long comment. Oh my god. Especially the tone, music, plot, humor, editing, and most of the new characters. Speaking of which, the whole movie. Sorry. Oh, yeah. This is what happens when we're recording and haven't read this. Speaking of which, the whole movie having teens becoming Jaeger pilots felt like a ripoff of Power Rangers. The one thing I really dislike is how the sequel killed off Mako Mori, which I think is a gripe that I think most Pacific Rim fans have, including myself. She was clearly the heart of the first film and the franchise. She was giving the same treatment as Joe Brody in Godzilla 2014, topical. But the visuals were also quite bland, probably due to many broad daylight scenes. And the sense of scale was lame, mainly because the Jaegers and Kaijus were moving a little too fast. So I'm curious, guys, what did you think of the Jaegers being Olympic gold medal athletes leaping over buildings and basically moving like not robots?
I didn't really care. I mean,
So it wasn't necessarily for me that like that can't be done. You know, like you can do that in a movie, not in real life, obviously, but you know, when they jumped and did all that stuff, just that amount of weight, that kinetic force, like you don't see the massive repercussions of it. So in the final battle scene, they're predominantly fighting in the city, like however many Jaegers versus Kaiju. And when they're doing this jumping and stuff, the force that they're exerting on the ground, you have to understand that cities are built like on a honeycomb of like subway systems, power lines, sewer systems, access ways. You know, the feet underneath, or the ground underneath your feet in a city, particularly like a large city, like hundreds and hundreds of feet down.
I'm sure.
Like, yeah. So like in Godzilla 1984, they made this a thing. Godzilla walks down a main street and like he stumbles over and like hits a building because like his feet are going through the floor because there's like no actual ground there to support him. Now, these Jaegers, I'd imagine they're roughly the same size. You know, like I don't know off the top of my head, but you know, like
I think they're bigger. I think
they're kaiju sized.
Yeah.
And the thing is like they're running around like athletes. How are they staying above surface running like that? It'd be like running through sand. Like you'd be like destroying the city. And when you jumped, you'd be like waist deep in like subway systems when you came back down. So the kinetics of it just don't make sense to me. So I don't like that element of it. I mean, Gypsy Danger in the first one, where it fights in Hong Kong. So the dock sides, stuff like that, like I kind of get it. It's moving fairly slowly, so it's not necessarily exerting as much force on the ground in like such pointed areas. So like, yeah, like Gypsy is like totally mangling the street as it walks along. You see that. Well done. But in this film, with all the acrobatics and stuff that's being done, it doesn't make sense. And I think the brain's able to, pardon me, it's able to catch that. So it didn't look right. And the CGI in broad daylight, like, well done. The CGI, it looks pretty good, right?
Yeah.
However, the thing is tonally, I didn't like that. So what made the first film really cool? So the best fight in Pacific Rim, it isn't the end battle, it's the middle battle where Gypsy, this old analog Jaeger, has to take on like what? 2 kaiju at the same time.
Yep.
And it's done at night in the rain in a neon city. So on the one hand, you have it at night where the kaiju are glowing, which as an art design, as a character design, that was great. And then in Hong Kong, with all these different lights, it's gorgeous against like a giant creature or a giant mech. But what really made it pop was the reflective surfaces of the Jaeger. Yeah. And the Jaeger itself, Gypsy Danger, was pretty dully colored. But in Hong Kong, it lights up. And then this synced up with the internal like HUD displays that the pilots were seeing. So it kind of made them feel like they were part of a fight, you know? I really enjoyed that element of it. And it just had like a great kind of Top Gun feel to it when Gypsy, like this older, like, you know, like mech that didn't really, it shouldn't have had a chance. It was unsuspected, and then it totally pulled it off.
Yeah.
So that was the good stuff. But here, we have too many failed plot devices, and it was going for scale, but it wasn't going for tone. And I think that's where they messed the mark, because Pacific Rim had a really original concept, and what sold that concept was the beaten up like world that these people lived in, where the lore and the tone and the established characters made it feel real. And then they kind of made it into like more of a cartoony, like Power Rangers sort of feel for the next one, which tonally that shift was enough that like the fans of the original going to see the second one, who thought they were being sold the same thing, of course they didn't like it. And I was one of those. I love the original.
We also have like the one Jaeger, like the girl builds, like the
Scrapper.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I get like it's something like a kid made, but at the same time, like Scrapper's design does not fit with any of the other sort of like Jaeger looks. I don't think, you know. I think
no, it was made by a kid. It's not going to.
They didn't have trillions of dollars, you know.
No,
but it's made from like stolen Jaeger parts. But that's what I mean. You're like, I don't know.
It felt to me like a Transformers movie, especially.
Yeah, it looks a bit like Bumblebee. I'll just be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. You guys probably didn't collect these, but when I was younger, there was a series of like figures that Lego released called Bionicles. Does anyone ever remember?
I know about Bionicle.
I know the name. Yeah, I vaguely remember it.
Yeah. Well, I had these as a kid, and there was like a specific.
I totally get what you're going for now. Yeah.
There's a specific Bionicle sort of like creature called like I think it was called like a bull rock or something like that, and it was basically you build your figure,
yeah,
and then you can turn it into a ball, and then you
Oh,
can
okay.
just roll it like that. And that's what Scrapper looks like. Scrapper looks like that and functions almost exactly the same, you know. So it's very more kid-friendly design, more
Yeah, I
almost
thought
like
it was going for like
toy.
Hulkbuster. It reminded me so much of Hulkbuster.
Yeah, I suppose. When did Avengers? I know that the Hulkbuster suit has appeared in the comics before the film, but
Oh, well, when did Avengers come out? Well,
yeah,
oh,
did
crap.
Pacific
Actually,
Rim
yeah,
come out? Uprising come up before Avengers?
I couldn't tell you that.
Hmm.
It might have done.
Oh God,
I don't think
Did
any of
have.
us care enough to look it up. Goodness
No.
me.
I mean
Um,
they're both terrible movies, so it's fine.
yeah.
So no one
Um,
cares.
so let's say Kerry Littlefield wrote in, and she said she could list 100 reasons why she hated the film, despite only seeing it once.
We've spoken to Carrie before, just through the group. We know that she liked the original.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, she's actually given us a few reasons why she didn't like it. So again, McIntyre being so dirty, being done so dirty by killing her off in the most stupid way possible.
I think
Fair
well,
enough. We don't. Yeah, we don't like her dying.
well, it's not just Michael that got played dirty. The characterization of Newt from the first film as well.
That's actually no. Someone else said that. I'm going to quickly hijack to go to Dave Lant, who said, It lost the sense of scale of the first. Jaeger's moved too easily. Why did the kaiju not head to Mount Fuji in the first movie? Good question. And they ruined Newt.
Well, that's true. Well, the thing as well is that I like Charlie Day. I like Newt in the first film. I don't think he makes a threatening villain just because it's Charlie Day. So, you know, I don't know. It's just
No, that's fair. I'll
it
carry on with.
just comes out of nowhere as well, and it's just
I feel like what we need to do is we need to summarize this film. So
Oh, hang on. Can I just carry on with the comments? I quickly want to give all our listeners a
more
shout.
trashing. Okay.
Yeah. So Kerry carried on to say having really cool Jaeger kaiju hybrids and then doing nothing with them. The kaiju from the first one were trying to get to Mount Fuji. Factually wrong, unless Trespasser had decided to take the scenic route the opposite way through San Francisco. Drift training with a brain in a freaking jar. Where did that come from? Was never present in the first film and doesn't fit the law finding compatible pilots. Scrapper, just Scrapper. And I have no idea this is. They actually use the Trollolol song in the scene.
I forgot about that.
They actually used the Trollolol song and showed the character pulling it up on YouTube while piloting the freaking Jaeger. What is that? What's the Trollolol song?
Why is this a bad thing? I mean, like, is this strike a nerve with other people?
Is this a pop culture thing that I completely missed and have wound people up?
So the Trollolol song's a meme. So they inserted internet memes into Pacific Rim.
Okay,
So,
I'm not down with the kids clearly because I did not get that meme.
yeah, it's basically it's an old video from like the 70s or something of a Russian singer. Just
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
He's like,
yeah.
It's like,
that keeps him calm or something, doesn't it? It's like my mum used to play it to keep me calm.
Yeah, it's just
okay. I had no idea that's Simon Yeager says lazy sequel, but on Twitter we've had a few positive comments. So, a real human keen said it's not on the same level as the first, but it's a really fun film with great effects and set pieces, great mecha design, and I think superior kaiju to the first movie.
ooh.
And Derek Mayer says,
apparently them's fighting words.
I thought it was a decent and a lot of fun. Definitely didn't hit the same level as the first film, but giant mechs fighting kaiju is always a good time. And I think I'm going to agree with Derek that, yeah, it's not the same as the original. It doesn't hit those highs, and it's a completely different tone, as you said, Joe. But it was still fun. I still enjoyed it.
You see, I didn't have fun with it. So for me, and this is a reoccurring thread on this podcast. Joe likes the lore.
You do like the lore. You love that
I
lore
love
building.
Lore.
Just like they did in The Predator. Loads of lore about predators in that. Just saying.
Shut up, Paul. Anyways, going back to this, some of the comments that we've just had illustrate how lore was disregarded. So the kaiju needed to get to Mount Fuji. or like a large volcano. There are no large volcanoes in San Francisco. So what was Trespasser doing?
Makes no sense.
I mean, in theory, like it was the first one. Like people wouldn't have known what to do. People would have been scrambling, like, what the heck? It could have had the clearest shot to Mount Fuji. So why
Yep.
didn't they just send like a big hulking thing the first time? No, it was supposed to be like, again, the dinosaurs, they were terraforming Earth, like blah, blah, blah. It was their stage one. And like now they're sending out everything, like to like rid the world of us. Like, excuse me. Like these city stomping behemoths, that was like getting rid of you. Or you could have just sent one from the beginning to just fall down a volcano. Really? I mean, I don't see it. Now,
I mean, there's flying kaiju as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's flying kaiju. Why are those things going into Hong Kong if they could just go to Fuji? But it's again like
maybe they're like
that
moths, and it's just
disregard
pretty
for the
light.
lore. And again, Mako Mori, like she was so cool. She deserved to go down and like if they were gonna kill her off, go down in like a blaze of glory.
Yeah.
Like Pentacast did in Striker Eureka, like
Yeah.
fight until like the bitter end and all of that. Like she was awesome. But she didn't get that. She died in a helicopter. Which I get, not everybody cool dies in an epic way.
No, but for that film, I mean, they could have her in a cool way, couldn't they? I mean,
Yeah. And
plot didn't
again,
seem to matter in this film.
I
and
think
giving whiny brats Jaegers too. Can we talk about that? Like undependable people. Let's give them a Jaeger.
yeah, where is the other Jaeger pilots?
Where are all the parents? Seriously.
Like
They could have done a better job. Like, okay, you're the son of a legend. Awesome. John Boyega, let's give you a giant mech. No, that's not how that works. Like, if anything, the political system has shown us that you just because like the parent did a good job, you don't give a role to their kid. And I feel like that was just not something that needed to be here. And then additionally, like re-entry trajectory for Striker or what was it? Gypsy Danger 2.0. Yeah, like
Gypsy Avenger.
Gypsy Avenger. Yeah, Gypsy Avenger. How are we doing this? Because it takes NASA a lot of effort to do that, And it looks like they just kind of winged it, and they ejected, so nothing was even steering the damn thing.
No, you know what I'm wondering is why those Jaegers even still in use when they clearly closed up the rift. No, like in the first film. So it's like
that's something I can definitely say though. I would totally just have Jaegers on a standby because Aliens opened up a rift once. Who's to say they wouldn't do it again? We can keep this fleet in reserve, but hey, and then like they got to be useful in construction, right?
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, I don't feel bad about buying the 4K edition that comes with 3 copies of the film.
Oh, hey, look what I've got as well.
3 copies of the film.
So you've got Blu-ray, you've got 3D Blu-ray, and then you have 4K.
Are you forgetting something? There's also the digital download as well.
Oh, sorry, and the digital download code.
There's 4 copies of this.
Why do you? So forgive me, but like every other 3D Blu-ray that I have, the regular Blu-ray is on that disc. So why are there 3 discs? Yeah,
it shouldn't be surely because, well, I don't quite know the size of the film, but compression and stuff, the highest quality would surely be a disc to itself, wouldn't it? Would it not need that much? I don't know how much space it takes up. But I know the 4K disc obviously takes up the whole disc.
All I can just think of is how nauseating the Jaeger the Jaegers jumping about would be nauseating over time in like 3D, I think. But it's oh dear.
Yeah, it's just all right. So someone sum up this film, right? Like, why are we? All right, this film that obviously effort was put into. Why did we not enjoy it? Like, sum up the plot, one of you.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, again, we want to say that no one set out to make this a bad film.
No.
I think they wanted to distinguish it from the original by saying, let's go different, let's go bright, let's go vibrant. We're just going to do daytime fights, not nighttime.
Yeah,
We're going to have kids rather than adults, but they just I don't know.
Part of me thinks Guillermo del Toro didn't want to make a second one, so they just
he wanted to.
Did he? Oh, no.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was originally signed on to do it.
Maybe. I'll need to look that up, but yeah.
Yeah, he was. But then Legendary got, you know how we said the rights. This wasn't a Legendary film, so when it was Legendary, Del Toro was going to do it, and then the company, I guess, bought the rights to it, and he got kicked aside.
Possibly.
With Del Toro, it's probably other projects. I don't necessarily think he gets kicked aside out of anything.
True.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the plot. So the plot is it takes place
where it went wrong.
10 years after the first film. We follow Jake Pentecost, played by John Boyega, who is the son of Idris Elba's character, who's never mentioned in the first film at all. He's just he's there, and he's up to shenanigans. For some reason, he's living a life of squalor or something, just squatting in mansions and stealing Jaeger bits for shady people, and basically comes across a young girl who has managed to basically make a homemade Jaeger out of scrap. And shenanigans ensue where they both get arrested and they're forced to rejoin the Jaeger program. And and basically the Jaeger program's under threat to being replaced by drones, and stuff happens, I guess, where it turns out Newt from the first film has been sort of being mind controlled by the what was it, the precursors?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, and he's somehow he's managed to rig all the drones with kaiju juice, I guess, or kaiju blue stuff. I don't know. And basically, it's up to our heroes to stop the kaiju from doing something to Mount Fuji, I guess. So, yeah, that's.
And they pull it off. They do.
Yep.
Good guys win.
That's right. Happy ending, and a stinger at the end as well, which probably won't get a sequel. But yeah,
such a shame. They did plan on having a sequel, but
yeah. So that was the most rubbish way to describe Pacific Rim Uprising.
Just basically, John Boyega is living his best life, where he ends up getting captured by Jaeger police, and then he has to do his community service by being a Jaeger pilot. So, anyways, the Jaegers that are replacing these Jaegers that you can pilot are secretly kaiju in disguise, because one of the scientists from the original film got brain happy with a kaiju, and he has been converted.
I don't like that idea at all. But
yeah, he was doing weird, they showed weird stuff in his bedroom. I don't like that. But anyway, they take out the kaiju mech hybrids, and then
can I say it's really cool when they become when the kaiju bursts out the mech. It goes very Evangelion, berserker mode.
One thing that was bothering me is, how did none of the engineers that were working on these drones there's some blue fleshy bits in here?
It's automated.
It's automated.
He said, I think he said 38% of the facility is automated, so he did it in that 38%.
But you still need people to in most situations where say car factories, which most car factories are automated. You still need someone to make sure the things are
That's
working.
that's what the film says. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but the thing is like that's not how engineering and like project management work. Like you don't get that sort of thing passed through quality standards. You really don't.
Well,
No.
it's
Anywho, monsters arrive. Monsters combine.
yes,
Into Devastator.
Into a
Yeah,
massive-
into the
yeah.
Devastator. And Devastator kicks some mech butt
kicks a lot of ass.
and then decides to just march its way up Mount Fuji. Doesn't run, mind you. It could have, but
it's
it
got
doesn't.
all the time in the world.
Yeah, it's got all the time in the world.
It's
I mean,
in Mar-
granted, like this, they lost. The precursors lost before. The kaiju lost before, and we were just shown like what 4 mechs versus 1 kaiju. So they had like time to plan. It was evident. We're gonna walk up the side of the mountain.
Listen, Japan's a very beautiful place to basically sightsee. So
And
it's just taking in the scenery.
yeah, it's about to give its
destroy
life.
everything.
So it is enjoying its last moments on Earth.
Yeah. Anyways, they strap a rocket to Gypsy Avenger.
Gypsy's hand.
Yeah, and like the payload of that rocket versus Gypsy Avenger's weight, would it have really taken Gypsy Avenger into space?
No.
I don't know, folks. I don't know. But anyways, Gypsy Avenger comes back down, lands on a kaiju, and the day is saved, and community service is fulfilled. The end.
Yay.
So as
And that
long
is
as you
exactly-
don't focus on the plot, it's fun.
Do you all right? So there is a great group of folks like Honest Trailer Reviews.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The Honest Trailer Reviews for the original Pacific Rim are amazing. It's got everything your 12-year-old self would love. Monsters, robots fighting giant monsters, colors, a doggy. It's just like everything. And then like they made a film that was even more far-reaching and ridiculous. And then they just destroyed the lore and made their own thing, which is why it failed, not through any lack of effort on the digital creative team, the folks that did the art, the animation, like all that stuff is great, but just
Yeah.
the parts
yeah.
didn't equate to something larger than
I've
the
just
whole.
been Googling it, and Del Toro was heavily trying to get a sequel done.
Right.
So he had wrote a script. He'd gone to the studio and saying, "Here's a script. This is how much I need." And then when Legendary was sold, it seems that got the production going, saying, "Yes, we definitely want to do a sequel now." But a few months after Del Toro handed his stuff in, the studio announced via Twitter that they've got a new director and a new script.
Right. So basically, they fired
Can
them
we see
via
the
Twitter.
Can we
That's-
see
I
the
wanna
Del
know
Toro
what-
script?
Yeah, I want to know if we can see his. But he stayed on, and he was the producer for the film.
Just bear in mind it's not called Pacific Rim 2, so they could easily make it.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
true,
like after
yeah.
Pacific Rim 2, all they got to do is give Netflix the right for a sequel series.
And that's 10 years after. I mean, if his sequel was set before that, just slot it in
Yeah,
the middle.
what they should have done is gone before the original Pacific Rim movie to the original fighting, like the first mech versus kaiju fight.
And maybe
you
they
know?
did. Someone's gonna have to try and find this script.
True.
Well, yeah, there's a comic. It's called Pacific Rim: Tales from Year One.
I don't know if
Like,
that's Del Toro's
it was
script
awesome.
though.
No, but it's awesome. Like if you went back and did a prequel that way, where Pacific Rim is the conclusion to it,
Yeah,
like,
okay, I
it
see
would
what
have
you
been
mean.
fun.
Did anyone, out of curiosity, catch the little product placement from NECA figures in this movie?
I didn't actually
No, but I
know.
saw the Godzilla kaiju names.
Well, in the very start of the film, or near the start, I think it's about 20 minutes in, 15 minutes in, whatever. They
The
walk
start
past.
of the film, 50 minutes in.
Well,
Crepes.
they walk past the lab, and it's full of those kaiju figures that NECA made for the first
okay.
film, right? And it's like, oh, look, you can buy these NECA figures, and then you look on like Amazon or eBay, it's like, oh, they stopped making them, and they like go for a fair bit. It's like, so no, you cannot get these figures anymore. But
I did really enjoy when you see like the list of kaiju that they've eliminated, and they all have like traditional kaiju names. Like one was Gigan, one was Roran. You know, like they were really cool in that respect. But it was just kind of like a little Easter egg in the background. That was fun.
Actually, it's funny they mention like the likes of like Godzilla and all that, or like Godzilla related monsters. I'll give Pacific Rim Uprising some credit. Unlike the Monsterverse, they actually fight in Japan. There's like Godzilla 2014.
That shots fired.
Godzilla 2014 has a scene in Japan at the very start, as well as like when the guy gets killed, I suppose. Bryan Cranston's character gets killed, but there's no fights in Japan in any of the Monsterverse films at all yet. So who knows? I mean, we've got a new Monsterverse film coming out, so maybe it'll be in Japan. But, no promises there, I'd imagine.
Yeah. We need to wrap this up.
Yeah,
I'm sorry
because we're being negative.
Yeah.
We don't like bashing films here, but there was just when you see a film get like this kind of budget and just not deliver, it kind of makes you sad. But oh well. Anyways, if nothing else, folks, Paul, if nothing else.
I guess I can't say watch Pacific Rim Uprising because most people have said they don't like it. I can say watch The Predator and hopefully enjoy that. Or even better, go to the Facebook group and vote which film you'd like us to discuss next. Because we have a poll up at the moment.
More, The Predator or Pacific Rim 2?
And I think it's Godzilla 2014 at the moment that's winning.
Ooh, I'll be glad to watch that and try and brighten my TV screen so I can actually see what's going on with that one. But
yeah, so if nothing else, go to Facebook, UK Kaiju fans, and join in on the poll to say which film we'll be discussing on the upcoming episode of Kaiju Curry House.
Do it.
Right, I'll go next. So go to the UK Kaiju Facebook group or tweet us at Curry Kaiju which film you would like us to watch next. Suggest Legend of the Dinosaurs and Monster Bird.
No, we've done that already.
No, you can never see that movie enough times.
I haven't seen it.
So things to look out for, folks. So Godzilla Singular Point has had a second season greenlit, which is exciting news. So I'm going to plug the first season of that. Do pre-order the Legend of the Dinosaurs and Monster Birds if you like a schlocky, good time, fun film. I will say if you are a native of England, Scotland, or Wales, we do have Jurassic Park, the exhibition in the Excel Center in London for a little while. So now is the opportunity to go and check it out. By all means, give it a whirl. Aside from that, I mean, like Paul, you just blasted Jurassic World Dominion, but again, I'll say it was an okay film. Actually, I will say it's probably one of the more kid-friendly versions of any of those films, believe it or not. The baddies get eaten, all the goodies live. There's very little swearing, and there's very little on-screen gore. So you could potentially like show rather young children that film and see if they enjoy it. What else? What else do I have to recommend? Yes, Disney Plus has announced a Kong series.
No.
You hush. So Joe DeVito, who we have interviewed on this podcast, is a main creative influence on this series, meaning Kong, King of Skull Island, which in this humble Joe's opinion is the definitive Kong story, could be seeing a series adaptation. It is so good. I prefer it to the MonsterVerse version any day of the week. Not saying the MonsterVerse version is bad by any stretch of the imagination, but the Kong King of Skull Island has just the 1920s Victorian Pulp Fiction-y kind of vibe that I really love. It's very E.B. Burroughs, or it's just fantastic. I don't know how else to say it, but totally check out our episode with Joe DeVito and then brush up on his books, because what Disney Plus does with that material is likely to be very good. Connor, take it away.
Well, I would recommend reading the Meg series, because I haven't read them. So
First one's pretty good. French is also pretty good.
If nothing else, also don't watch Pacific Rim Uprising. Watch Pacific Rim. There you go.
There we go. All right. Well, folks, we will put the hat drawing at the end of this episode. So keep listening. And as always, keep it kaiju. Names from all the different people that asked us questions for the 100th episode. Ooh, some people fell down. Sorry. I want to make sure that you're in there.
Sorry, those names are now null and void.
Shake. Shake. All right, and I cannot see it. Now I definitely can't see it. I'm gonna pick. See, this is the problem. I use like post-it notes, so I gotta make sure that they're
That's like a sticky post-it, yeah.
All right, so one. I have to put my glasses back on for this.
So weird seeing you without glasses.
Two.
Who are you? It's like Superman and Clark Kent.
It's like Superman. Like, it does work. Three. Oh man, all three of them were like green post-its. I had 4 colors, but they're all green. Right. So we have Tom Tyler.
Sorry, boy.
We have Emma Bryant.
Ooh.
And we have Dave Lant. So there we are.
Congratulations,
3 winners.
everyone.
Yeah, so we will message you, we will get your addresses, and we will send them out. Thank you for participating in our 100th episode. When we do 200, we'll have to see what we have for a giveaway then. Thanks, folks. We appreciate it.
We'll have a real Godzilla suit to sell.
Whoa.
We might not have
Can
a
I
real
have that?
Godzilla suit to sell. But anyways, thank you so much for participating. We really enjoyed all your comments.
Yeah, thank you,
and
everyone.
we look forward to seeing the pictures of you wearing our merch.
Yeah.
Have a great time, folks. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.